Well, I guess this week we're going to be doing some updates on some things. I ordered up a belt for our XR1000, the PRB 16.9 capstan belt. Got that from a reputable place, Nest Electronics, and unfortunately that has not arrived, so I don't know if there was some kind of shipping issue or what, but at the time that I ordered it, and I did order it over the phone, apparently they had 4 in stock, but still no belt. So because of this project, I decided that I would not even do a video, part 2 video for this. And you probably remember this Pioneer SX-3900. I did go ahead and finish up the 2 lights and the speaker A and speaker B and the FM. And that unit is working beautifully. It's waiting to be returned to my friend's shop. So, and then some other updates. We're talking about one of my most highly watched videos is on this Pioneer SX-3900. And this unit was purchased to take the place of a Denon, a very nice high-end Denon home theater receiver. And that Denon was never going to have a permanent home here. It was always going to be replaced. And it was just a question of getting one of these and getting it repaired. Very nice receiver, and even though it is 5-channel surround sound, it is all analog. There's no digital properties to this, no digital inputs, no digital processing of the surround sound, none of that. And I picked this receiver for a particular reason, just simply because I use a control system in my garage here that fires IR codes, and I need those codes to all be discrete. I need a separate on command, a separate off command, and this receiver is one of the oldest ones that I can trace back in Pioneer's catalog that is analog but yet still has that capability. And the Fisher tape deck, the one that I did my first video on, it took the place of a realistic tape deck in my rack here. I wanted to go back to one that has analog meters and a direct drive capstan motor. And this unit has done a beautiful job. We're listening to a recording I made on it not soon after I got it installed into the rack. As for the rest of the system, I use an old Project 1 turntable, direct drive unit. Does a beautiful job for my garage. Don't need anything too fancy here. Old school Onkyo first generation CD player. Unit was given to me at the time there was a problem with the tray. Got that repaired. Other components. Got a cable box because I do watch a little TV out here. Sony Blu-ray player. That particular player is there just so if I want to watch a DVD, there is the capability, and it also has analog right and left outputs on it. That Minolta VCR, which is Hitachi made, that unit is there for occasionally maybe playing a tape, but for the most part I use it to record audio on, and it does a beautiful job. And then we have the dual EQs, one for the top set of speakers, one for the bottom set. Got a set of Advents here, and a set of old beat up JCPenney MCS series up there that I've rebuilt a couple of times and blown up a couple of times. 2 amplifiers. I use a QSC that runs the top speakers, and a friend of mine traded me something for a very nice JBL that I use for the Advents. If you're an audiophile, the system would be very offensive to you, but if you listen to a lot of hard rock, Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, this is definitely the system you want because it is very loud and very clear. I run both of these amplifiers at about 50% capability. Anything more than that, if you get too crazy, it could destroy those speakers in no time flat. That's pretty much the updates on things that I had worked on but never got around to giving you any kind of updates as far as what I'd done with them. The only other unit that comes to mind is I had a Sony tape deck that I did finish up putting belts in and getting the mechanism taken care of. And that unit was over here on my to-do shelf. And these are some future projects that I'll get around to. A friend of mine wants his old Kenwood tape deck worked on. Says he's not in any particular hurry, but he does like it and wants it repaired. And somebody gave me an old turntable that I'm going to fix up, pass along to my daughter. And I got a very nice JVC Hi-Fi VCR that will make it to a video one day. I'm sure that's not a big crowd pleaser, but I definitely want to fix it. This I didn't really want to work on. This is an old B&O stereo that one of my customers that has a lot of different pieces of stereo equipment wanted this repaired, so I'm going to work on that for him. And my friend's shop, he was fortunate enough to get another Sony Beta Hi-Fi machine. That will be probably the next project. Again, not very popular with these video things, but I enjoy working on video just as much as I do audio. And we got the 19-inch, 13-inch Trinitron that goes with the Beta machine that was given to him. And that is not going to be a video, but I am going to keep it because it's in pretty nice shape. Let's get a look at that. Very nice old Sony. After we fired it up, the TV works. So, don't know about the Beta machine though. Got a bag of Beta tapes that go with it. Don't know what all this is about, but we'll go through those and see if there's anything interesting to watch. And some other things that I've repaired and bagged up. We got a Panasonic CD player I did in one of my videos. Right below that is that Sony 501. And right below that is a friend of mine's Sony receiver that I repaired for him that I'm just hanging on to for him. That's my old Trinitron 13-inch Vega. Anything that is going to be here for a long period of time, I always bag up. That way there's no issue with things getting too dusty. My garage is in pretty good shape, but it does get very, very dusty in here. Let's go take a look at some parts. And again, we're freehanding the video, so shaky is the life that you have to live when you're doing this kind of thing with just holding your phone in your hand. As for my parts, I got a very varied collection of resistors, different values, anything you can imagine that you would need to have. Got some old this drawer is all the old carbon resistors. I got carbon resistors in here. I'm not sure, I don't use those hardly ever, but I do have them just in case I need them. And drawers of transistors, different ones. Got them all listed. Not every transistor, but I got quite a few. Some are pulls that I pulled out of other units that I wanted to save because I knew they were originals. So, several different types of capacitors. I don't keep a ton of these on hand. I used to, but now I don't use as many as I used to, so I don't like to keep them for a long period of time. Got a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Got some optical pickups. This in particular is a Sony. I want to say this is a KSS 100 maybe. Anyway, I kept this because I knew that this would be something that I might possibly need one day. Pulled that out of a good working unit that had gotten dropped and had horrible cosmetic problems. And then just all kinds of motors and things. I keep all kinds of boards with switches, micro switches. Pretty much anything, you know, flex cables. Keep a good selection of motors around, loading motors from VCRs because they can be used for other things. Any type of motor that I run across, I'll usually pull. Got a lot of different spindle motors that are used but in good shape. Got a few capstan motors. These are pretty useful if you run across the right cassette deck that has a bad capstan motor. Definitely come in handy. DC 7 volts. I'm not sure where I got that one from, but that'll be something that would have to have a specialty place for it to be. I'm not sure what this, maybe this is from an 8-track. All kinds of brackets, screws, whatever you might need. And then of course I go micro size for screws and springs, any kind of mounting things that you might need to have. Keep a pretty good selection of emitter resistors, 2 and 3 watt up to 5 watt. Just randomness stuff. Lots of plugs and sockets, adapters. Got a pretty good stock of fuses. I'm getting low on quite a few of them. So now it's just a case of buying them as I need them. I don't hardly ever use any of these type of fuses anymore, but I do have quite a few of them. I even have some slow blow ones. .75 ohm termination stuff. And some 1/4-inch plugs and sockets. Got a bunch of knobs in case you need a knob for something. Bunch of cabinet feet. Speaker jacks in case one of those breaks. I even got a few speak-on connectors. And some phone stuff. I keep certain slots of these. I used to have one for Pioneer, RCA, Magnavox, every one you can imagine, but now I've just got it down to pretty much Pioneer, I believe. That's the only one that I really kept a drawer for, and it basically has a lot of optical assembly parts and CD player parts. Got some miscellaneous VCR parts that were left over from the glory days. A lot of these are new, some are used. Probably be throwing all those away at some point. Oh, let's see what else we got down here. I keep a really good supply of ICs. I have an actual list that lists all the ones that I have, but I mainly find myself just going over to the drawer and digging out what I think I might need if I come in need of one. And they all used to have a tag, but they've all kind of come off now. Like this is the HA drawer, HA1201. Go on a little further, HA1389R. A lot of these are very old. Some of them are even discontinued. LM drawer. What is this? And then as we go down further in this chain, there's drawers that are designated just generics. And these I use for testing purposes pretty much. In case I have something that I'm on the fence about, I don't want to put a real part in it until I confirm that it'll work with a generic, and then once that turns out to be okay, I'll put the real thing in there. I don't use hardly any of these for a permanent replacement unless there's just absolutely no other option. And in any type of high-powered amplifier would be an absolute no. And I do have a drawer for Zener diodes. And as for the Zeners, I don't have a problem with the generic ECGs for that. Never had any problem at all using those. Got a few speakers there. So that's pretty much my part stash. I keep a few circuit boards down below my tool caddy, just in case I want to pull apart real quick. I'll take a walk back over here, listen to a little bit of this, and then we'll wrap it up. We'll listen to a little Journey, and this is the version of Journey with Greg Raleigh back, and Dean Castronova on vocals. This is the version I'd pay money to see. Let's check out these awesome meters here. Really is a very nice sounding tape deck. Speed, absolute, rock, solid. Well, I guess we're gonna wind this down a little bit, and wish I could have gave you the part 2 on the TIAC, but no capstan belt. So we'll pick back up on that next week, as long as they can get me a belt here. So thank you guys for tuning in for this one. And when we get ready, we get this up and working, I got a couple of really nice fresh tapes that I can't wait to use to do some recording on this. Already got some songs in mind that I want to record on this unit. So stay tuned for that next week, and I'll make sure that we get a belt here and we can get this finished up. So thank you guys very much for hanging out, and we'll catch you next week.
Just